What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Bleed. It's your boy Al Mac. And we got the results, the recap, the breakdown of what was the insanity of UFC 262. Oh boy, Al. Hey, I'm sorry, folks, but you know what? There's going to be a victory lap. There's going to be a couple victory laps because me and my man Al, we tried to tell you on the co-main. We tried to tell you on the main event. And if you just didn't listen, that's your bad. But you know what? That's okay because we're going to break it down. Al, I'm pretty pumped up. I'm pretty amped up. A lot of things went my way on this main card. But listen, I got a good analogy for the folks out there for how this gambling, how this betting night on the UFC went for me. My betting night reflected the performance of Charles Bronx Oliveira fully because you know what? Early on tonight, your boy took a couple L's. But you know what happened when we hit that main card, baby? Annihilation, okay? I tore it to shreds. And let me tell the people how. It's my man Al Mac. Al, how are you doing?
Good, man. I had a pretty great night as well. You know, we hit on Oliveira, we hit on Dariush. There was a couple, you know, the prelim started off pretty well for me too with those two flyweight dogs in the women's division. But over the dogs went 6-6 tonight, so which isn't spectacular. Lately. And then the under again tonight, Cash. So that's 2 weekends in a row now that the under has been profitable, 7-5 for 5.3 units. So it's interesting. 12 fights tonight. There was 7 of these fights were coin flip fights between -150 or better, and the favorite went 4-3 for just a 9/10 of a unit. So this was just there was value on almost every side of these fights. This was such a bettable card for me. I bet 23 bets tonight, and I ended up making just under 4 units profit, which to me is a huge victory because at one point it wasn't looking very good. The Dariush the Dariush cashing on the money line helped, and then you know we'll talk about it. But I had everything pretty much leading to Charles Oliveira, and it all worked out, and not the way that I expected. But before we get to that, let's talk about the whole card, or the whole main card, because this is a banger, man.
Absolutely, dude. I'm riding high, feeling great. Absolutely killed this main card, and I can't wait to talk about it. So, kicking it off, the first fight of the night, man, and we really got to give the UFC some props here. This was the perfect fight to kick off a main card. Edson Barboza, 1 minute, 16 seconds of round number 3, takes out Shane Burgos in what was an absolute war of attrition. And Edson Barboza ends up being the man standing at the end. So, Al, I got to tell you something here, man. Earlier this week when I put out my prediction video, as I do every week on Tuesday, I said I like Edson Barboza in this matchup. If Edson Barboza can really invest in the leg kick, the calf kick early on, Shane Burgos, he's a very good boxer, but he's very heavy on the lead front leg. My goodness, I actually tweeted out, I think Edson Barboza might have seen my breakdown this week. He went in there, chopped Burgos early and often. I'll say this, though, man. Shane Burgos is a tough dude. He ate a lot of leg kicks. I think a lot of guys would have been incapacitated, would have absolutely just wilted and weathered away. Listen, he's a tough guy. Were they affected him? Absolutely. There's no one in the world that's just going to be unaffected by Edson Barboza chopping the legs like that, especially early in a fight. Now, this was a close fight. Edson Barboza, for my money, was winning. And Al, like I said, I started off this night a little ticked off, lost some bad bets. I mean, not necessarily bad bets. It's just, you know, there were probably 2 likely outcomes to every bet I placed, and it was the other outcome that kept happening. You know what I mean? So variance, whatever you want to call it, it is what it is, right? but it ended up getting me very ticked off. Okay. So I started the night, like I said, not on a good note. I got mad, kind of forced a play here on Edson Barboza. I said the plus money. I picked the guy to win on my prediction video. Unfortunately, and this is my bad, I gotta take full responsibility for this one. I should have had Edson Barboza on the Patreon that I sent out to everyone. Unfortunately, I didn't. Like I said, I honestly kind of got mad, kind of chased, got a little overly aggressive, and it actually paid off. I had Barboza in this one, man. Al, before I throw it to you, dude, I got to say one thing before I forget. I'm very concerned about that shot Burgos took. Al, I've watched a lot of fights. I've been balls deep into this game for over a decade at this point. I've never seen someone eat a massive shot, regain composure, focus on their opponent, begin to move forward, and then all of a sudden this guy's eyes drift off. He starts falling backwards and falls against the cage. I honestly was afraid that we saw something break loose. We saw like Burgos having a stroke. I was ultra concerned with how that guy went down. I've never seen anything like it. It's just that simple. I've never seen anything like it. And sure enough, the dude gets up and he's recovered. Let me throw it to you right here, Al. Just tell me what you thought of that moment. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Well, no, absolutely not. I've seen it in like other sports where guys have gotten hit in like hockey or football and they kind of just shake it off and then they drop. But that was very strange. And like it's one of those things where Burgos is just too tough for his own good, basically. And that was the case with those leg kicks too, where he wasn't backing down. He was like, I'm going to see how many I can take, because he didn't switch stances. He was just still staying on that front foot. He was willing to eat those leg kicks. And I thought Burgos was doing some good work there. Like I had Burgos in this fight,
okay,
and I had fight goes the distance. So it was kind of but things were looking well for Burgos. He had a good second round. He was doing the good head body head and that front kick and that left kick to the body. And then the broadcast was saying he was really affecting Barboza with a good calf kick as well.
Yeah.
And then even in the start of the third round, I thought it was looking good for Burgos, and then it just wasn't looking good anymore. And it was like the buildup of the damage took its toll all at once, and then I gotta say the referee should have stopped it right there when he just dropped backwards. Like that man. Was those extra shots weren't necessary, but it's one of those things where the referee, we're both saying, and even they were saying on the broadcast, I've never seen anything like that. So the referee is in the same boat, right? It's just like, what's going on? It was strange. We've seen so many strange things in these opening fights on the pay-per-views lately.
That's a good point, man. You're totally right. It seems like the first fight of the night on a pay-per-view card is always just a weird fight. This was a great fight, though, as long as it lasted. I've just never seen a delayed KO as far as like a headshot. Like, it's just so weird to me, dude. Like, and I still am very concerned. They need to get this guy to the hospital immediately. CT scans, CAT scans. I still am concerned. There's something not quite right here. Usually when you see something similar to this, it's the liver shot. We see guys eat a hard body kick. It's almost like it takes the nervous system a second or two to respond. You'll see a guy eat a liver kick. He seems okay, might even continue to move forward. And then all of a sudden their body almost forces them to crumple like to a fetal position and really recede. And they almost can't get out of it. Then a guy comes up and starts teeing off on them. They're really not responding because your body's just forced to fold over. As far as a headshot though, dude, that was so unlike anything I've seen. I'm very concerned for Burgos. He seemed totally okay after the fight, which thank goodness, right? Because I thought this guy's getting like stretchered out of here. I just thought there was potentially something seriously wrong. Seems like he's okay as it stands right now, but I would not be surprised if they run some tests and they find out something isn't quite right here. I mean, I'm happy to win the bet, but it's one of those situations. I'm not going to go as far as to say it's a Chris Weidman situation, but I just don't like seeing these guys get potentially seriously hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And glad I had Barboza. Glad he cashed as a really good plus money underdog. And I mean, to be honest, my read on the fight was incredibly accurate. I even said before the fight, I'm telling you guys right now, this is going to be an absolute war. And it was. And let me tell you guys something else, man. Shane Burgos, as long as he's okay, he passes medicals. It turns out it's just a weird one-off moment or something. This guy's going to come back. He is one of the best 145ers on the planet. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. And I don't think he really lost a lot of luster losing to Edson Barboza. I mean, this dude is insane. He's a monster. He's a freak. I think Burgos is going to bounce back, like I said, as long as he's okay. And Barboza's on a legit win streak, man. He's going to fight a top-notch guy. We're talking Barboza being two fights away from a title shot. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's so weird with MMA how, like, guys, as they get older, they'll move up, but then we'll also see guys as they get older, they'll move down.
And I'm not a fan. Yeah, you're totally right, Al. I mean, Aldo's done it. Barboza's done it. I mean, you're going to move down a weight class in your mid-30s? I just can't. That's not the natural order, right? As the older you get, you move up weight classes. You don't say, let me diminish myself and cut more water weight. And I mean, just look at Edson Barboza, though, man. That guy is just absolutely shredded to the max. Sorry, Al, I just had to jump in there, but that's a great point, man.
Yeah, and one of the crazy things is inside the distance on Barboza tonight cashed at 5-1 plus 500.
Wow.
So Barboza's stoppage victories in 3 of his last 9 UFC fights for plus 6.1 units on the inside the distance prop. So before tonight, it was just 1.1 units, but now with that giant inside the distance at 5-1 odds, you know, you're making good money on Barboza inside the distance, and that was I guess that it was such a clean shot. It was just not really like I don't know if we seen him finish guys to that effect. Like that was devastating, you know. And yeah, I think this is one of those guys that he's having like a resurgence as a veteran. He's one of those guys where they've weeded out a lot of dead weight in these divisions, and these guys similar to Charles Oliveira who've just been around for almost over a decade. And Barboza's pretty much one of those guys. He's been around in the UFC since like 2012. He's been around forever. So they've weeded out a lot of the dead weight, and Barboza's one of those guys where the cream just rises to the top. He can hold his own against these young up and comers. And yeah, I would love to see him. The thing about featherweight is it's just such a logjam, right? And especially now with the Ultimate Fighter, right? Like I don't think we'll see that fight until like October. So
no kidding, dude.
The way that the featherweight division, it's going to take a while for it all to work out. But yeah, I would like to see Barboza. Yeah, we just got to see like how this division plays out for the next little while, and then find him an opponent. And then, like you said, Burgos, as long as he's good, I think you get him right. You get him right back in there, because he was looking good up until it wasn't anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Is there anything you want to say before we move on to the next fight of the night here, Al?
No, let's move on to this next one.
Here we go. Katlyn Chookagian gets the unanimous decision win over Viviane Araújo. Al, another one that I'm seeing a lot of people really thinking Viviane Araújo won this fight. I could see an argument. Yeah, I think Viviane, you could have scored 29-28. I think that's fair, and I think a lot of people did. I actually brought up MMA decisions here to see what media thought, and it's pretty much a 50-50 split. I'm on the side. I thought Chookagian won 29-28. I thought she did enough to win 2 rounds. Al, but here's the real slam dunk. I really crushed this one, Al. I gotta give myself props. I said coming into this card, I said it earlier today on the live stream, right? On the final countdown, I said, man, I'm going to be looking to live bet a lot of these spots tonight because I think there's going to be some really good opportunities. Al, I found one shot tonight. I took it, and you know I cashed it. Katlyn Chookagian, the favorite, at about 1 minute left in the first round. I got her at plus 245 live. And I said to myself, I got to do this. Even if I lose this bet, that's just incredible value for a fighter that is going to be the one coming on stronger as this fight goes on. Viviane Araújo is a tank, an absolute beast. Look at how this woman is built, okay? She comes out every fight, very strong, big power, and that's how this fight played out. She absolutely won the first round. I don't know how you could ever argue it that Araújo did not win the first round. She won the first round, okay? But even as that first round progressed, we saw Chookagian be starting to find the timing, starting to find the distance, and starting to have more overall success. And Araújo was already beginning to slow. So I said to myself, based off the momentum we have here, 2 whole rounds to go, Katlyn Chookagian plus 245, this is my shot. I took it. The judges, they side with me fully. I thought we were going to probably get a split decision. I thought scorecards would be all over the place. If anything, they went too heavy. I think one judge scored 30-27, Chookagian. Al, I talk about it all the time. Some of these judges, by the time we get to the finish of the third round, they forgot what happened in the first round. And I'm going to tell you right now, that judge does not remember the first round. He goes, I don't know, this blonde chick I think won the fight. Give her all 3. What's the point? You know what I mean? It was a close fight. I feel like Araújo clearly wins the first. The second's up for debate, really, depending on what you score as what. I thought Chookagian landed more output, landed more damage. You know, for Araújo being the more powerful bruising fighter, look at the damage on each woman at the end of the fight. Chookagian not wearing much. Araújo very swollen around the eyes, and it was just a numbers game. Chookagian just constantly pitter-pattering. I call it the shadow boxing technique. But Chookagian, with the yells, the screams, I'm telling you guys, I say it all the time. These chicks who do that, it scores well with judges. It's like putting an exclamation point on a strike as opposed to a period, you know? It makes the moment seem bigger and it stands out. It's human nature. It's just these judges, it impacts them. Chookagian absolutely uses it to her advantage. We go to the scorecards, as happens every time Chookagian wins, and they give her the decision. I thought it was right. I had Chookagian 29-28. I understand a lot of people had Araújo 29-28. I'm just happy to hit a big plus money live bet. Al, the main card, I lit it up. That's just where I started the main card absolutely on fire. I hit Chookagian. She wins it. Al, what'd you have on this one, and what did you think?
Yeah, I had Chookagian in this one too, and I got to give you props because that's such a good bet because the over in this fight was over 2.5 rounds at minus 400. So the market, it was already like a pre-gone conclusion that this fight was going to go the distance, right?
Right.
So with this being a coin flip fight, I don't know if Araújo was doing enough for her to be favored that much at that point on the live line. And like it seemed like she was landing the bigger shots, but Chookagian was doing a good job of kind of, you know, it like rolling with those punches. She looked good, like besides just maybe a few missteps where she just basically ran right into Araújo and Araújo just hit her straight on. But then in that second round, you know, Chookagian dropped her at one point, and then she started to get a little bit of momentum going, and then Araújo got her on the ground, and she got her in that mount position, but somehow she managed to get up. She seemed like it seemed like Araújo might have, you know, got tired, and because like she thought that she was having a better go on the feet, that she kind of just let her go. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. And then I got to talk about the Joe Rogan saying that they were saying that they thought that she might have tapped. But I mean, there is no way that she tapped there. She was going for the body lock, and she was reaching around to get her other hand, like while also being choked. And I don't think that was a tap. We've seen a lot of missed taps before, but that wasn't one of them. Like,
I'm with you.
yeah, I thought that was just ridiculous. And that's the type of thing that like it just shouldn't be on the broadcast. It just, it lowers the credibility of a fight when it's just like, oh, did she tap? Like, anyways, but yeah, I thought Chookagian turned the tide really well in that third round. I wasn't completely sure how it was going to be called. Like,
right. Yeah. Oh, believe me, I was not confident going into the scorecards. When I heard a 30-27, though, I was like,
well, when I heard unanimous decision, I was like, what? Like, and then 30-27, that's a terrible, terrible card. Like, that's terrible.
We saw some
judging.
bad ones, but you know what? Unfortunately, we told you to buckle up. I warned everyone this week, get ready. It's Texas, baby. These judges are trash, bro. And we saw some horrendous scorecards. Luckily, you know where we really got lucky, Al? Is that a lot of these fights finished. Yeah. And if they didn't, a lot of them were just pretty blatant. I mean, we can't even get into Grundy 30-27. That's an all-time terrible scorecard. And I mean, I don't even know the name of the guy who did it. Like, apparently I heard it was his 5th event ever judging. So, I don't know. I don't know. Al, there's just nothing to be said. What is there to say other than it's just terrible incompetency, and it's got to get fixed because it's one thing to get it wrong, which they still got the right guy won, at least Venata, right? I mean, my God, had Grundy won that fight, it wouldn't have been good, but
yeah,
it's real rough, dude. And we just see if they're not getting every round wrong, it's not. Listen, it's not okay to get every round wrong. It's not okay to get 2 rounds wrong. It's not even okay to get 1 round wrong. There's 3. This ain't boxing where we got 10 rounds and hopefully like the law of averages kind of, we still get the right guy.
Yeah.
There's 3 rounds. You screw 1 up, that's probably the fight, right? I mean, how often do we get a 29-28 scorecard in this sport? I mean, it's just constant, right? I don't know, Al. There's nothing we can do. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where we just get to sit back and enjoy. Hope you're on the right side when they're wrong, and hope you're on the wrong side when they're right. Like I don't know, dude. It's just the craziest thing in the world. Like it's crazy. But what do you think, Al? Is there anything you want to say on this before we move on?
Yeah, one thing, Chookagian, yeah, like you said, she's won. She's a decision machine. She's won 7 of her last 10 fights by decision. So $100 bettor who's bet on her to win by decision in her last 10 fights is up $575 right now after tonight. She cashed at just even money to win by decision. And this is one of those things where I was like, no, I'm not going to bet her to win by decision because who knows what happens here. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff. It was type of thing where I bet, the fight goes the distance, yes, in a parlay with another bet, and then Chookagian minus 130. I was all over that. I thought that was I thought the right girl was favored. It just seemed like she had to withstand basically the tsunami in the first round, and then Araujo's arms just started to drop more and more. And Chookagian's a veteran, man, and it's tough. Like, what do you do with her? She's so good that she's better than so much of the division, but we saw her move up for a title shot and just get slaughtered. So like she's being forced into the role of being a gatekeeper, which I don't know. I mean it's good for her. Like, like I said last week about Marina Rodriguez, if she just wants to have herself a good career and have herself some entertaining fights, all the power to her, because she's got a good name to her. Like, basically, the UFC obviously likes her to have put her on this pay-per-view in Houston. So it is what it is, man. I just thought this was I wouldn't say easy money, but I thought Chookagian was the right side. all day on this one.
Yeah, man, I'm totally with you. Here's the thing. I want to say this though, man. It's very strange. Honestly, as this week progressed, like I said on Tuesday, I had Chookagian. I mean, it honestly played out how I pretty much predicted. Man, I almost started getting an itch for Araujo. When she came out, I thought she looked good. Katlyn didn't look too hot. I felt like there was just something didn't seem quite right. But luckily, I held off, and like I said, man, hit the live. So happy about that. All right, moving on. Another one, Al. Man, I tried to tell. I'm out here trying to help people, right? I'm trying to tell these folks. Okay, Rogerio Bontorin wins a unanimous decision over Matt Schnell. I think Matt Schnell was a very popular bet this week. I saw, a lot of people I have a lot of respect for were on Schnell. I didn't see it, man. Now don't get me wrong. Bontorin, up a weight class, misses weight. But, Al, I wasn't too worried about it because the guy had an extra 10 pounds from where he's normally cutting to. When you miss weight by 1 pound, but we're still 11 pounds from where you normally fight, I'm kind of not thinking that he's, killed himself to make the weight. My God, could we get more DC and Rogan talking about how much Rogerio Bontorin weighed before this fight? We get it, 165 pounds. You know what I mean? My God, guys. But hey, for my money, man, I thought Bontorin won this fight 30-27. I'm pretty sure at least one judge agreed with me. Bontorin's just better. I mean, I just try to tell people Bontorin's better. Al, I had a bet on Bontorin. I waited until the absolute last minute because, like I said, Schnell was a popular play. I know it was a popular play. How do I know? Because the line kept getting worse on Schnell and getting better on Bontorin all week. So I sat back, said, let me fire late on Bontorin, got him at a beautiful plus money, of course, as an underdog. And he goes out here and he dominates this fight. Here's the other angle, though, Al. I did have the under on this, man. I said to myself, I don't see this fight going to the scorecards. Let me tell you why. The chin of Matt Schnell. I was off. This guy's been rocked, knocked out. And don't get me wrong, he got rocked a few times in this fight. He got wobbly, but the chin held up. I thought 135-pound Bontorin was going to knock this dude's head off. I thought he was going to knock him out. Sure enough, it goes to a decision. Unfortunate, man. One of the few fights, which we're going to talk about one later on that I did cash on. But, I took a couple fight unders because I felt like we were going to see a lot of finishes tonight. Sure enough, we did. Unfortunately, I hit the wrong one. But let me explain my argument for why I did. I thought Bontorin was going to knock Schnell out, and if he didn't, Bontorin with the big weight cut, blah blah blah, short notice, all that. I didn't know if he was going to be able to go a hard 3 rounds. I thought Schnell may be live to finish him late if Bontorin didn't finish him early. I kind of used that under as a cover. You know what I'm saying? On the Bontorin play, I win one. I win the plus money one, so I'm happy about that. I made money on the fight, right? But unfortunately, I lost an under. Al, I hate betting 2 bets on one fight. Now, don't get me wrong. I did it on the main event too, and we cashed up big, baby. But I had Bontorin. He's the better man. I tried to tell people he's the better man. Again, a lot of people disagree. A lot of plays I had this week, a lot of bets, people are like, no, man, Tony Ferguson's going to win. Chandler definitely gets the KO. And Schnell's going to work this clown. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, dude. We cash on Bontorin. What did you have, Al?
I was on Schnell, man. I thought Schnell was I just didn't like how I didn't like the whole narrative of Bontorin coming down from 165. I bought in. And I guess I don't know. It was just it just came down to I just thought Schnell was I don't know. He was very underwhelming in this fight. Like he got hammered so many times, and if it wasn't for I think Bontorin's just kind of rough fight IQ, where times where he could have just closed in on him and finished him, instead he like went for the takedown just to gain position, basically, where he should have just kept firing. There was multiple times in this fight where I thought Bontorin could have got the finish because, like you, I also had the under. So this fight hurt. But yeah, as someone who has watched the tape on Schnell, I thought this was just a poor performance, basically. Sure. And then all in all, just disappointing from Schnell. And then Bontorin. So he's 3-2 in the UFC, and all 3 of his wins have come by decision. And he cashed tonight plus 500 to win by decision.
Damn.
So
Yeah. Well, it just goes
three,
to show, man. I didn't see it going to decision, and neither did the bookmakers. So it is
yeah,
what it is, though.
exactly.
This stuff happens constantly. So
But that's happened before with him because now
yeah,
3-2 on the decision prop for 8 units profit since he's come in like in 2019. So he's one of those guys where I think the market thinks that it's going to be violence, but he's durable, and they seem to match him up with guys that are pretty durable too. But I also think I wouldn't call it poor fight IQ. I just think that he was kind of just like he didn't know what to do. Like he was giving him his best shots, and Schnell was rocked. And then I kind of just think that it's like almost like an instinct thing to, the guy's rocked, so you just go for the takedown. I don't know what it is, but I thought multiple times tonight he did that. I thought if he just kept going in on him and hitting him with those shots that he could have got the finish. It didn't happen. It is what it is. But, enough talking about losing. Let's get to the winning part of this show.
right on,
this
brother.
next fight was...
Well. We give you a look ahead. This is a fight. Al, when did we start talking about this fight on this show? I mean, a month ago?
Yeah.
Beyond that? Beneil Dariush, unanimous decision over, I'm going to say Tony Ferguson. But the thing is, this Tony Ferguson and the Tony Ferguson that we all know and love,
yeah,
that's two different people, okay? I've said it before, I'll say it again. This was the Tony Ferguson that you hire to show up to your child's birthday party as a Tony Ferguson impersonator because this was a fraud. This was a shell. This was the lifeless corpse that used to be Tony Ferguson. And my man Al tried to tell you. I tried to tell you. Did they listen? I don't know. I'm getting text messages earlier in the night, from my friends, from even my brother telling me that Tony Ferguson wins this fight. People on my YouTube channel all week, yeah, Tony Ferguson's not as good as he was, but he still beats Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush ain't that good. And you know what I tried to tell people? If Beneil Dariush comes in here and he takes Tony Ferguson down, he's going to dominate this guy. I think Beneil Dariush at this point probably beats the crap out of Tony Ferguson on the feet. Let me tell you something, people, in case you didn't know. Beneil Dariush didn't lose 1 second of this fight. Did he have his head caught in some spots, I guess what we call an attempted submission? But yeah, but was he ever in position of danger? Not really. Was he on top in a dominant position? Absolutely every moment. Beneil Dariush comes in here and beats the soulless shell of I want to say of Tony Ferguson, but that ain't Tony Ferguson. The real Tony Ferguson, his soul was extracted. It was put into a little jar with a cork, and it's now worn on a necklace by Justin Gaethje, okay? Because he took Tony Ferguson's soul, okay? And he ain't been the same since, okay? I tried to tell people Bronx will dominate this man. I tried to tell people Beneil Dariush will dominate this man. So you know what I did, Al? I dropped a bomb on Beneil Dariush across a multitude of books. And you know what else I did? I went and said, you know what? Let's get real wild. Let's get real crazy. And let's go ahead and let's pair him up in a parlay with Charles Oliveira. And we all know how that played out. Beneil Dariush beats the brakes off the fraud version of Tony Ferguson. Absolute domination. Al, it's victory lap time. Let me hear about it.
Well, yeah, there was, sometimes I say, as soon as the bell rings, I just, I knew I was going to lose. This was the exact opposite of this. As soon as the bell rang, you knew that, it was just going to go in our favor. I couldn't imagine any way that, even, yeah, like you said, even when he was in that Darce choke, it was more or less Dariush just kind of gaining. I wouldn't say he was just gaining his win back. He was in a bit of a submission there, but he got out of it with ease. And but before that, going back to even just the opening minutes of that first round, I thought give it to Tony, because he was evading some of those big shots from Dariush by just just a hair. And that seems to be one of the only things that Tony's game he still has. He's still really good at evading. He's still, his defensive boxing is still top notch, because he was just not there so many times. Dariush was coming in with so many just he was just trying to walk him down, and he just wasn't there for a lot of those shots. And it kind of worried me a little bit, because I was like, Ferguson is dangerous in the later rounds of fights. And but it's just, Tony looks so confident until you actually start fighting. And then we saw this in the Gaethje fight. We saw this in the Oliveira fight, obviously. And then we saw tonight, his body language, he just looks defeated. As soon as Dariush gets his hands on him, Dariush had a good chance for a crucifix there. And it was just the thing that bothered me. I had the under is as well in this, which going back,
I'm sure.
Yeah, and the thing was, I felt like Dariush could have had a good ground and pound game going, but he was just laying and praying, kind of like it just looked like he was holding back pretty much. It wasn't the way I thought. I thought that Dariush should be able to get the finish here, but it is what it is, man. My bigger bet was on the just the straight up money line, and you had to really look like. I had to just really dive in to get Dariush. I got him at -152, and I saw a lot of books like -175, and I probably would have done the same thing. I probably would have paired him up in a parlay, but I was like, no, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna sit this out. I'm gonna set my buy price, and got the price that I wanted. We kind of missed out on it about 2 weeks ago, when this fight was a lot closer in the odds.
Sure.
And but yeah, Dariush, he's 12-3-1 in his last 16 fights in the UFC, and 6.5 units on the money line in that stretch. So he's been profitable, man. And he needs to fight. He needs to fight someone in the top 5 next, right? Like, he needs to fight. Even Chandler. I would like to see him fight Chandler. But let's. What did you think about this? Give me some more. Let's bask in this a little bit more. What did you think? I feel like the fight. I feel like the fight really. It just didn't have that oomph to it that I thought it was going to.
Oh yeah. You're absolutely right about that, man. But you know what? And here's the deal, right? And I'm glad you brought that up, man, because this is a good segue. Because I do want to hammer on this, right? So we heard earlier in the week, Beneil Dariush says he's going to go out there and out crazy Tony Ferguson. Okay, that ain't what happened. Okay, and I got to take my hat off. I got to give big props to Beneil Dariush, because, like I said in my breakdown, Beneil Dariush comes out here and uses offensive wrestling. This guy can make this a grappling match. Oliveira laid out the blueprint that Tony ain't what he claims to be, this snap jitsu, whatever that's supposed to be. Eddie Bravo, 10th Planet. Beneil went out there, got a little wicked with it at first, right? But eventually he takes him down, and he says to himself, I even kind of caught the last part of the post-fight press conference of Beneil. He said, you know what? I went out there, took this guy down, and said, this is nothing. I'm in dominant position. And every time there was a scramble, every time there was a scramble, Beneil Dariush won, okay? To the point where I'm going to tell you right now, Tony Ferguson, this is probably a wrap. Because you guys remember that time when he had to wear sunglasses inside and he tripped over a camera cord and ripped his knee and we didn't get to see him fight Khabib? Well, guess what? Beneil Dariush went ahead and did a little surgery himself tonight, and he totally took apart that whole surgery, okay? Tony Ferguson's knee is done. I saw on the replay, you can absolutely see a ligament and muscle. Something gives way in his leg and fully tears off. And Tony Ferguson's a freak, right? But even Tony Ferguson's grimacing, wincing, looking like he's about ready to tap. I'm going to tell you right now, a regular guy does. You need to be mentally unstable. You need to be a Tony Ferguson to literally look at someone in their eyes while they disconnect the ligaments and muscles of your knee and twist them and rip them. And then you go, oh, another round? I'm out there. You could tell his movement was diminished. He's absolutely defeated. He's not who he was. He's got a torn apart knee at best, okay? I think this should be the end of the road. I mean, this guy is so bad. I saw another – listen, this was another stat brought up to Dana White at the post-fight press conference. The last 30 minutes in Tony Ferguson fights, he's thrown 30 strikes, okay? We've never seen someone fall off like this. From a year and a half ago to everybody showing up trying to tell me this is the guy to beat Khabib, and I tell him, please excuse yourself from my channel. Not a chance. My man Khabib will murder this man. And that's the truth, and that's what would have happened. We don't need to see it. We know now, okay? If Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira offensively wrestle you to death, a shutout, literally you have no moments of success, do you have any idea what Khabib would have done to this man? It would have been a crime committed in the octagon, what Khabib would have done to this dude. And you know what? I got to take this moment right now, and I got to laugh in the face of Tony Ferguson, who at the press conference called my man Khabib. I'm not even going to repeat it because it's just so outlandish. Tony Ferguson, the luckiest thing that ever happened in your life was the fact that you never got in there with Khabib Nurmagomedov. And that's just a fact. That's all there is to it. Al, let me know what you got to say about this fight as we approach this main event.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think it's just so hard to like Tony, man. He's just such a punk. Like if he talked like that and he had good performances, but it's almost like as if the more that he's focused on the way that he talks is the worse that his fighting has got, you know, like he's such a punk, man. He was so disrespectful to Dariush at that press conference. And I'll say this,
really rubbed me the wrong way, man. Big time.
I don't like to watch those things because it kind of sways my opinion, but like, you know, the bet's already made basically with Dariush for me with that one. But that you know, some things weigh my confidence differently, but that one just made me even more confident in Dariush because I'm just like, why are you pissing him off? Why are you making it personal now against this guy he's just gonna maul you? And that's basically what happened. And you can see it in his face. He just doesn't have the fight left in him, you know, like where's that confidence that he has when he has the microphone in his hand when he's on the ground? You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
It's just, I hope this is it, because this clown show, you know, like the biggest thing for me, and that's why I hate this kind of stuff, is because it's like, yeah, you can sell a fight, but like at the end of the day, martial arts is about like honor and it's about like respect, right? And like at the end of the day, and then another thing, like when Beneil went to like hit him, like went to like say like nice job, man, like in between the first and the second round, he like pushed him, and like it's just like what? It's just so disrespectful. That's the type of shit that ruins the sport. You know what I mean? That's the type of shit that leads to like Connor breaking buses and stuff like that. That's like, you know what I mean? It's just not in the spirit of the sport. Like it's all good to like, you know, talk some trash and build it up, but just, you know, he's just such a punk, man. And I love to we called it from UFC 261, right?
Day one.
And you know, my confidence didn't waver at all on this one. This was one, you know, the next fight, you know, we'll get into it, but the next fight, my confidence did waver a little bit as we got closer. So
no doubt.
But this one was all day, every day, Beneil Dariush. And then, like I said, I think he needs to get a big step up. I would say Chandler would be a good fight for him. Or I don't know. Chandler would be a good fight for Gaethje, but Dariush, he's got to fight somebody in like the top 7. No matter what.
Dude, he's got to fight. I mean, Dariush at this point, it needs to be like a contender fight. You know, he needs to fight somebody that if he beats them, probably worthy of a title shot, in my opinion. He's on
Yeah.
just a tremendous win streak. And even though this is a faded corpse of Tony Ferguson, the name alone in the resume, it carries weight and it does mean something, even if this is, the worst version of Tony Ferguson we've ever seen. Yeah, man, I just got to say, and I'm going to cap it off on this. No one has ever wrote a check with their mouth that their ass could not cash like Tony Ferguson tonight. Real pathetic, real bum stuff. I don't ever need to hear this guy running his mouth like that ever again. And I'd hope his next opponent slaps him like a bitch at the next press conference, because that's just foul. This guy is just on. I mean, it's Tyron Woodley all over again, but with like a mental illness and false confidence. And the guy's still out here saying champ shit only. Khabib's a bitch. I'm done with it, Al. Let's move on to the main event, the crown jewel. Speaking of my man Khabib, the heir apparent, the heir to the throne of the greatest division in mixed martial arts history, the UFC Lightweight champion, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira, gets it done. I know a lot of people were on Chandler, man, and I get it. And you know what? Before we get into this, man, I'm going to hype up Charles "Do Bronx" a lot because I was on him. I bet him big. I just felt like it was destiny. This man wins this fight. But all due respect to Michael Chandler, the way he fought, tremendous. The way the graciousness, his ability to take the higher ground, essentially an opposite Tony Ferguson, essentially, like for real, the way this guy handles himself, his business. I have the utmost of respect for Michael Chandler outside the octagon as I do inside the octagon. And my man was that close to being your UFC lightweight champion. An incredible first round. Charles Oliveira has some very good moments early on. Michael Chandler lands those big, hard bombs on Do Bronx. I mean, at one moment, Do Bronx is against the fence, eats a big shot. His knees go. He buckles, like kind of sits down in a spot. Chandler's unloading, very similar to what we saw, how he finished Dan Hooker, where Dan Hooker was in a similar spot against the cage. Do Bronx is doing the Benson Henderson. I used to call it, Benson Henderson. He has the long wavy hair. I used to talk about how this guy gets in the octagon and likes to try to clean up after himself. He's in there sweeping the floor with his hair. Do Bronx doesn't have the long hair, but the same technique. And Chandler even said after the fight, it's a very good technique because essentially he's hard to hit swinging the head like that. And what he's presenting you is the back of the head. And you don't want to hit a guy in the back of the head and finish the fight. You're going to get a DQ loss. I mean, have we not seen that enough lately in this game? Right? Man, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira loses round one. We saw, Al, you brought it to my attention, man. A judge scored that first round, 10-8 Chandler. And Do Bronx sits down on the stool. He's cut. He's bleeding. The quitter, Charles Do Bronx. I heard it so much. And Al, again, I tried to tell people, I used to be on board that Charles Do Bronx is a quitter. I saw it. I've lived it, okay? I remember these fights vividly. I told people, this is a different man. This is a guy with the mindset of a champion and heart now. If Charles Do Bronx had even an ounce, a drop of quit in him, he loses this fight in that first round. He gives up, okay? We've seen him drop out of fights in far less adversity than what he went through in that first round. Goes back to the stool after surviving, after recovering a little bit, gets his minute in, goes out there like nothing happened, lands an incredible left hook Chandler does not see coming, jumps on him, chases him down, lands the shots. Charles Do Bronx inside the distance knocks out Michael Chandler. It's the dawn of a new era. Do Bronx! Do Bronx! Do Bronx! The new champion. Al, did we not tell the people? We told the people, right? We told the people. Yeah. Al, take it away from me, Al.
Yeah, like this fight went almost like exactly how I thought it was going to. And then, not the way I thought it was going to, all at the same time. Like, Oliveira had his moment on the ground there. and Chandler was hitting him late, but I gotta say, Chandler hit him real hard. But when you look at that replay, I feel like his knees did buckle, but for him to have been moving his head a bunch, I feel like he wasn't taking as many of those shots on the ground that it looked like. Sure. At least like because it seemed like that finish was imminent, right? Like, and I got to give it to the ref because that was that was like a I don't know. It was just, it's so Michael Chandler. Like this is, and I said it in the lead up to this, is just like he has those time shots where he just times you with that, similar to that the Usman, where he just throws the straight right and then the hard left, or he does it both ways actually, where he'll throw the straight right or the straight left and then the hard right. And he caught him right on the button with that one. And the thing that got me after the replay, I saw the replay, and I gotta say, like, in the lead up to this, into like, in the month that we were doing these videos and the look ahead, I started from being extremely confident on Charles Oliveira to, being quite confident, but totally envisioning Chandler winning the fight. Like now seeing it in my mind that Chandler was going to win this fight. One thing that got my confidence really back was that the press conference, or not the press conference, the ceremonial weigh-ins. The face-to-face there, and seeing just the difference in size, and seeing, just similar to just like how the fight played out, where just Oliveira was just like, no, I'm going to just keep coming forward. And I think that was the narrative for that second round. 19 seconds, all it took in that second round. And I feel like Oliveira came back and he was like, I can't back up. I have to just keep going forward. And the thing about Chandler is, as good as hard hitting as he is, you're easy to time his combinations. And that's all Charles Oliveira did, is he timed it perfectly with that counter left hook right on the button. And then Charles Oliveira, he's similar to Dustin Poirier. He's just so good at knowing when a fighter is hurt. He knows how to mix in those knees, the Muay Thai knees. And he's just, this was just a thing of beauty, man. And what a fight. Like,
incredible,
what a
fight.
Absolute fight. Like,
incredible fight
for the ages, right?
Absolutely, Al. And like I said, man, all the respect in the world to Michael Chandler. Here's another thing. Listen, I'm going to give Michael Chandler some props right here. Charles Du Bronx got on that dude's back with a body lock, and I said, oh, baby, it's time to cash a bet for sure. Because you know what? I had Charles Oliveira, but you know what else I had, Al? You know what else I had? I had the under, baby. We're talking about two finishers. I tried to tell, again, I swear every fight I tried to tell the people, but I did, man. I said, listen, guys, this is going to be very similar to a Prochazka Reyes, regardless of who wins. There's just no freaking way this goes to the scorecards.
Yeah.
And I was totally right. I mean, 19 seconds into the second round, like, it don't matter what under you had. It's cashing, you know what I mean? So a double casher, baby. Oliveira and the under, totally thrilled. Dropped some bombs, cashed them up, big time profit. But Al, I kind of got on a tangent here. What I want to say is Charles Du Bronx Oliveira had a body lock, okay, on the back of Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler escaped, okay? That is ultra impressive. When's the last time Du Bronx had somebody's back and they survived? I mean, I can't think of one time. I literally cannot think of one time that dude latched on. But Chandler was desperate, man. Literally launches back, tries to hit the head of Oliveira. Wow, Al, instant classic, dude, no doubt. One for the ages. I'm going to watch this fight literally as soon as we're done with this live stream, Al.
Same.
That fight was on fire, dude. Absolutely capped off a beautiful UFC 262. Every prediction I had on the main card came to fruition. Only lost one bet on the main card. I ended up having a bet on every fight on the main card, and I didn't even mean to, just between live betting, getting frustrated on prelims. So it ended up being, man, a really phenomenal night for me overall. The bankroll has increased. My man Charles Du Bronx wins. even outside of a gambling standpoint, you know, as a fan, I was rooting for Do Bronx. Would I have been mad? Would I have said, you know, gosh darn it, I don't like Michael Chandler? No, I like Michael Chandler too. He would have made a great champ and a great story. You know what I mean? But and he came this close. You know what I'm saying? But my man Do Bronx gets it done. I tried to tell the people, Michael Chandler, another very, very popular play overall amongst the MMA gambling community. Al, I got to tell you what, your boy made some money. Al, you made some money. We came out ahead tonight. You know who didn't? Everyone else in the world, dude. I mean, from what I can tell, everybody got wrecked. You know, a lot of the real, like, cute spots this week, the Tonys, the Chandlers, the every other fighter who lost tonight was like a pretty popular play. So, Al, man, honestly, I'm thrilled. I'm over the moon. Absolutely, just a tremendous night. Couldn't be happier. Did I take some L's? Oh yeah, but did I take some W's? And were they the ones that I really, really, really wanted? Oh yeah, baby. I'm as happy as could be. Al, why don't you tell the folks overall how the night went for you, man?
Yeah, the one thing that I said last week, and I just said the L word, and I said that, you know, the under, I thought, you know, under 2.5 was, I was still, you know, I could still see, I really like when this opened, the under 2.5 was kind of at like minus 135, and then, you know, tons of money came in on the under, and then it moved down to the under 1.5 round. But even then, I was still, you know, even after that first round, I was like, okay, well, someone's gonna get finished here pretty quickly. And then there's you know, a very popular gambler who gave out fight goes the distance yes, you know, on this fight, and said that there was good value. And I got to tell you, I
saw that earlier in the week. Listen, as a kind of an entire community, we all kind of looked at that and said, "Nah, bro." I hate to say it, Al. Kind of a what's the word I'm looking for here? Kind of an exposing play, if you know what I mean. Like where you could ever come up with value on that, even anywhere. I mean, I just don't get. Al, I'm sorry. I'm about to get real wild here. I'm not going to say it, Al, but you're right, man.
The fight goes the distance. No, was honestly one this is one of those things. I had it in multiple parlays. Fight goes the distance. No, under 4.5. This was a lock. Like
for real.
Oh, it was just, you know, there was no way that this fight was going to go. You know, it was just destined to be quick, right? Like it was, these guys. And then just to finish that thought, Oliveira with that finish now has the most finishes in UFC history. He was tied for the record before, and now he has the most. He has 14 wins by stoppage in his last 22 fights. And if you've bet $100 on him to win inside the distance, dating back to 2012 in his last 22 fights, you're up $1,000 tonight. And with him cashing plus 120 inside the distance, but then plus 450 by TKO. And then there was another stat. The two of them had, I think it was like they were 25-12 between the two of them in their last 37 fights to the under.
Yeah.
So now they're 26-12. And it was just, this was it was nice because it was all leading up for me for Charles Oliveira. I was up like a half unit going into the last fight, and I was just like, you know, it's gonna come down to the under is the play, and I wasn't nervous because even if Chandler won, I could have still scraped by with a little bit of profit eating the Charles Oliveira loss, but you know, it wasn't the way that I thought it was going to be, man. And I still thought that, Oliveira has that crisp boxing, and it came down to me having the belief in him, all basically because of that Pitbull knockout, where I was just like, you know what, a little guy, a smaller guy who's not as bulky as him, can still lay it on him. And Chandler's a pretty thick dude, and Oliveira's pretty lean, but he's that shoot box that, those guys are deadly, man. They hit each other with bags of rocks for fun. Like they're so tough. Charles Oliveira is so tough, despite how he looks. He is so tough. He is just a monster, man. And I think Dustin Poirier is the biggest problem for him. And beyond that, I think he could beat anybody else in this division, basically. I think Dustin Poirier gives him a hard time. And then besides, obviously, Khabib and, Makhachev, right? That would be a wild fight too. But I got to say, I think the only person I would probably – I don't know if I would pick against him, but the only person that I would say would have any case to be favored against him right now is either Khabib or Dustin Poirier. And beyond that, I think he's the favorite in against anybody else in this division, bar none. And who knows what's going to happen now, because it's sky's the limit for this guy, really.
You got that right. The sky is the limit. And right now, he is amongst the clouds, baby. It does not get higher. Charles do Bronx Oliveira is the new lightweight champion of the world. I know a lot of people can't believe it. This dude became the champion. I think this was his 28th UFC fight. I mean, just unbelievable. Nobody's ever done this, But you know what? Charles do Bronx Oliveira, he shuns trends. He shuns, the way that things normally play out in this game, right? Nobody's ever done this. Started their career a division down, lost a lot of fights against fairly high-level competition, but now he's at the highest high, and this guy clearly has broke through to another level. And out, I mean, he just beat Michael Chandler. He beat Tony Ferguson. He's beat some other good, Kevin Lee. He's beat some good guys. I don't know who's going to present problems for this guy. With Khabib out of the picture, I think Islam poses the biggest problem. I think Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor both have got their work cut out for them going up against this guy. Man, I'll tell you what, though. Give me either one of those dudes, and I am glued to that fight. I can't wait, man. And I think that's who gets it, right? It's going to be the winner of Dustin Conor. That's who has to. I mean, I guess maybe. Well, it's already a trilogy, right? If Conor wins, whoever wins this third fight gets 2 of the 3, and that's going to be how it is, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if Conor fights Charles Oliveira, I think Oliveira just destroys him. Like, it'll be, like, I don't think it's going to be even close. Like, that's just my
Al's
opinion.
keeping it real around here, man. He don't think he's got a shot. I'll tell you what, man. I'm concerned for Poirier too, though. We saw, where does Poirier struggle? Where does he lose a fight? It's that grappling, baby. And Dude Bronx is all grappling, and not only that, the dude's one of the damn best strikers at this point too. Listen, that's another thing that I tried to hammer on. I go, man, listen, you guys think Dude Bronx, because check it out. Here's an angle we got to talk about, which I think is probably why we had so many Michael Chandler bettors and backers this week. Michael Chandler's never been submitted, okay?
Yeah.
How does Dude Bronx win? In a lot of people's minds, Dude Bronx was going to need to come in here and tap this guy out to win, right? Had he ever gone up against a guy with the jiu-jitsu on the level of Dude Bronx? No. So I said to myself, oh, yeah, there's a very good chance Dude Bronx taps this guy out. And the way it was going with that body lock on his back, I thought it was getting ready to go down for sure. Listen, don't get it twisted. There were milliseconds away from times where Oliveira was going to knife that skinny long arm, because that's the huge grappling advantage he has. That skinniness makes it so much easier for him to get the thin part of the arm under a neck, around a neck, squeezing a neck. Even the legs. He's so good at weaving spider-like appendages. You know what I mean? But what I'm getting at is, Al, I said, there's a very good chance Charles do Bronx comes in here and wins this fight striking. Sure enough, how does a guy come in here? Knocks out Michael Chandler. Damn, this guy's good, dude. This guy's really good. Are we looking at a guy? Are we looking at a Khabib scenario where we're talking about a guy who's going to defend for years? I'm not sure yet, but I'm telling you, Charles do Bronx is the truth. I don't think Michael Chandler is very far away from the title picture still. He had a very good first round, came very close to winning this fight. Michael Chandler goes out here and beats Beneil, beats Justin Gaethje. He's back to being one fight away from a title shot probably. So is it over for Chandler? No. Is he 36 years old? A 36-year-old, 1 year younger than Tony Ferguson at the same weight class? Yup, that's the truth. But at the same time, it's the guy's only had 2 UFC fights. He's 1-1 now. Chandler. I mean, Al, it's Dariush or it's Gaethje for Chandler. There's no other option. And do Bronx gets the winner of Dustin and Connor, and I think that's all there is to it. Al, is there anything you want to say before we wrap this recap?
Yeah, I would have to say Chandler Gaethje is a great fight, and I feel like now, especially now, like if as far as like the UFC casuals go, if there was anybody who was like, who's this guy? You know what I mean? Like as far as Chandler goes, he's got some credibility now, you know. So Chandler Gaethje that's a great fight. That's I would make that fight for sure. And that's the type of fight that you can just headline a pay-per-view. I feel like you don't even really need to have a belt on the line, but who knows what they do. And for Oliveira, you know, if Connor beats Dustin, which I don't think is going to happen, but if he does, I think that Charles Oliveira will defend his belt successfully. And then, I feel like honestly, and then another thing that about Oliveira is now that he's the champion, now that he's getting champion money, he's the type of guy that's not going to like get to his head, right? He's like a super disciplined dude, like the type of guy that came out to like Brazilian Christian rock tonight. Like he's the most like in tuned dude. And I just think it's not going to phase him. And especially with getting that money, he's going to be able to up his game. So I feel like we're going to see him improve even more. And if that happens, then honestly, I think the only guy that'll be able to take him down is Khabib. And who knows, man? Who knows if Oliveira ends up being the guy to bring him back, right? Because that's the fight, right?
Sheesh.
Khabib Oliveira is what people think Khabib Tony is.
I think you're totally right.
Yeah. Khabib, like that's the fight that people like, because Oliveira is as skilled as people think Tony is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, listen, Al, you nailed it, dude. Charles Oliveira right now is what people thought Tony Ferguson was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And maybe at one point Tony Ferguson was that, but he ain't anymore, not even close. And if you ask me, Oliveira is what Tony was supposed to be, and then even turn it up some more. You know what I mean? Crank it up even beyond that. This dude is the real deal, and that's just all there is to it. Al,